Stanley Druckenmiller predicted that Trump's trade policies wouldn't just impact the economy, they'd rewrite the global geopolitical landscape. He foresaw the surprising alliances that would emerge and the unexpected countries that would benefit. Prepare for a shocking analysis of how these policies are reshaping the American economy. Druckenmiller understood that tariffs, like taxes on imports, would change how countries trade with each other. He knew that when the United States put tariffs on goods from China, for example, it wasn't just about buying things for a higher price. When Trump's trade policies came into play, Gabelli likely focused on figuring out which companies would gain an advantage and which would face a disadvantage. His analysis probably involved looking at tariffs, trade agreements, and how these things affected different sectors of the American economy. One potential winner could be certain parts of the American manufacturing sector, specifically companies that produce goods that were previously imported heavily from countries like China. The tariffs imposed on Chinese goods might have made American-made products more competitive, leading to increased sales and profits for these companies. However, this benefit could be offset by higher costs for raw materials if those materials were also subject to tariffs. On the other hand, many companies likely face challenges. Businesses that rely on importing components or finished goods from overseas, especially from China, may have seen their costs rise. This could hurt their profits and force them to raise prices for consumers. This is especially true for retailers and companies in the consumer electronics or apparel industries. The overall impact on the American economy is complex. Some argue that Trump's policies were aimed at bringing jobs back to the U.S. and reducing the trade deficit. However, others worry about the potential for trade wars, which could disrupt global supply chains and slow down economic growth. Druckenmiller was trying to figure out which companies would be the winners and losers in this new trade environment. Overall, Druckenmiller believed that Trump's trade policies were a big risk to the global economy. Companies that benefit from the trade policies might see their stock prices rise, while those that are negatively affected might see their prices fall. A value investor like Gabelli would likely look for companies that are undervalued due to the trade policies, meaning their stock prices don't reflect their true potential. He might also consider companies with strong balance sheets and the ability to weather any economic storms caused by the trade policies. Trade negotiations are always ongoing, and the global economy is constantly changing. This means that the impact of Trump's trade policies is still evolving. It's important to stay informed and do your own research before making any investment decisions. What about the impacts felt by our allies, and what unintended consequences arose from the retaliatory tariffs placed on U.S. goods? What long-term plans have companies devised to protect themselves from future trade wars? These are issues that require deeper investigation. If you found this analysis helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to keep watching more insightful videos like this.